As a parent, have you ever been in a season where it just seems like your kids catch every bug that goes around? Why they're struggling with chronic allergies, asthma, or even some autoimmune stuff? I know, I've been there. Like, I've been there as a parent, but what if I told you that the key to unlocking that or getting them out of that challenge might not be another supplement, another medication, or even something that's maybe a lifestyle change? It might be partially in the nervous system and a nerve you've probably never heard of. Now, the vagus nerve, often nicknamed the wandering nerve, and I'll talk about why this is because it's like a super highway that works through the body. The vagus nerve starts up here in the top and connects the brain to nearly every major organ or system: the gut, digestion, the heart, into the lungs. It plays a crucial role in regulating that immune system. But when it's not functioning properly, it can lead to a ton of health issues. It can leave you frustrated. It can lead you searching for answers. So that's what I want to talk about today, really the power of the vagus nerve and the immune system. So a real quick stat on this is, I thought was super interesting that according to a recent study, more than 20% of children actually suffer from allergies, asthma, and in fact, asthma, the numbers on it affects more than 4 million children in the United States. Now, these numbers have been steadily rising over the past few decades, and traditional approaches, they often fall short of the solution side of it, right? They continue to rise even with more medicine and more technology. Now, when you look at it in terms of an autoimmune disease standpoint, these were once rare in children. It was more common in adults, but they're increasingly more common to where even now 1 in 4 children will struggle with an autoimmune struggle at some point. Now, when we look at these, we want to find a real and lasting solution to them, not just a quick fix, and that goes into the vagus nerve. So I really want to break down what the vagus nerve does and how it impacts your child's immune health. Well, first off, I talked about the nickname for it, the vagus nerve. It's the wandering nerve. It's a two-way communication street, really that super highway between the brain and the body. It's constantly sending sensory messages. So sensory messages back and forth from the brain to the body to help regulate everything from our heart rate to our digestion to the respiration to take, but one of the most crucial roles is in the immune system regulation. Now, when it's functioning properly, the vagus nerve helps maintain what we call the inflammatory reflex. This is like a checks and balance system for our child's immune system and their child's immune response. But when the body detects a threat like a virus or a bacteria, the vagus nerve signals to the brain. And in response, the brain sends signals back through the vagus nerve to control up or down inflammation or the immune response. This delicate balance ensures that the immune system responds appropriately to the threat. Now, birth trauma, stress, emotional factors, things like that, even chronic postural stress in kids, with technology and phones and school, even those things, they can cause what we call vagus nerve dysfunction because it overwhelms that side of the nervous system and it causes it to be more underactive. So it can't regulate everything appropriately. And when this happens, it's like there's a traffic jam on that super highway, and the up and down communication between the brain and body, the signals, they just don't get through clearly. And the immune system can become either under responsive, leading to your child vulnerable to infections or the chronic stuff, or over responsive, leading to more allergies, asthma, and autoimmune, where, it looks at everything as a threat. Now, here at Rising Health Family Chiropractic, this comes into play a lot because we use advanced scanning technology called the Insight scans to detect areas of neurological interference. And so, so often when we see a child that struggles with chronic or overactive immune function, the vagus nerve shows up to be the common problem or what the stress is impacting the most. Then what we look at is, okay, how do we tone that vagus in the right way? How do we get it to communicate better, restore proper function and communication from the brain to the body and through the vagus nerve to the gut and back? Now, there's other lifestyle factors that really work with the vagus nerve too. If you've done any research on this, this is probably where you've seen it, where we look at, the different ways with stress management, with nutritional support to reduce inflammation. They all work together to create an environment with the vagus nerve. And by extension, your child's immune system can function optimally. I mean, think about it, right? It takes everything. If our kids are eating the wrong foods, if they're eating inflammatory foods, if they're not getting enough sleep, all of these things matter to maintain vagal nerve function. But if you've tried the supplements, the outside in approach to sleep, all these things, and if that nervous system interference isn't removed first, those additional things often won't make the change to the extent that you'd hope for. Now, it's important to understand that with the vagus nerve, it's not about treating the specific symptoms, right? And that's what we talk about as parents, and that's okay, right? We think about, that cough, that fever, that stuffy nose, that chronic congestion. That's what keeping kids out of school. So we've got to think about that, but when we drill down to the root cause, we want to focus more on that root cause. And instead of focusing on just those symptoms, we want to look at overall at the neurological function and the body to heal and regulate itself naturally through that vagus nerve. And this is why parents report improvements with overall immune function, not just one or two things, but all areas that go along with immune function, because we all know that sleep impacts the immune system, foods and digestion impact it, and even mood and behavior and stress impact our body's immune function and the vagus nerve. And this is why the vagus nerve is so important. So what does this mean for you and your child? Honestly, I want to give you hope today. I want to encourage you today because there is hope beyond the cycle of recurring chronic illness, allergy medication, or autoimmune treatments. If we can help you support your child's vagus nerve function, we can really look at that innate ability for the body to heal and maintain balance. That's huge. So if you're just tired of watching your kids struggle, if they're missing too many days at school, getting to the root cause, which is oftentimes that vagus nerve inflammatory reflex, that can make all the difference. We want to look at your child's specific health challenges. We'll take a look at insight scans. We'll do a personalized care plan. We want to find exactly how they struggle so we can get them, get to the bottom of it, and we can help them fix that and have an easier school year. So we want to guide them through that. We want to guide you through that. If you're interested in looking at it, just schedule a scan, DM us with any questions. We would love to talk to you because we love to nerd out about the vagus nerve. It's so important for our kids' health today, not only for immune function, but as I talked about earlier, your child's true health potential, kind of all and everything above that the vagus nerve can do, but specifically with immune function. So if this is something you're worried about as the weather gets cooler, as the school gets deeper into the year, contact us. We'd love to help, and we'd love to talk with you more about the vagus nerve. So I hope this finds you guys well. God bless, and take care.